Hi there, and welcome to a typical tea tent to town. I thought today we would take on a challenge set by one of you lovely people. Christ Duke commented previously, suggesting we build as compact a settlement as we can, which as they point out is not usually my forte. So, without further ado, relax with me as we attempt to do just that, in this, the third region of our Tent to Town series, where we guide our people from the starting tents to the large town settlement stage. As usual, I spend a bit of time setting out, so if you want to skip ahead to where we actually get the foundations started of our settlement, then just check the timestamps below. Okay, so how are we going to go about getting this settlement as small as we possibly can to get it up to the largest upgrade level? Now, to get to the large town settlement level, we need to have 30 families at level 1, 20 at level 2 or higher, and 15 at level 3 or higher. So, we're definitely going to, I think, need more families than the absolute minimum required, which I guess would be 30 families with half of them being at level 3. But I think a good start might be, we're doing in this region as we said, to try and stay within this King's Road here, in terms of where we're going to be putting our dwellings. You can see actually, our foresters from the nearby Town region have definitely been encroaching, haven't they? And planting out in here to give us some additional trees, which isn't an issue. You know, it gives us an additional forest with which we can chop down the timber, so I'm not going to complain. Now, we do have a wild animal deposit and mushrooms here, so hopefully those are going to be our primary food source initially. But my concern really is that if we build too tightly in here, then we're going to struggle for production of things like vegetables, which is going to be a key component of our production if we're going to support a small civilization. What's the fertility like here? Terrible anyway, so we're not going to be doing a whole lot of planting. Having said that, are we doing any at all? I mean, rye, yeah, so some good spots, but most of it is in this area here, and we're going to want to build in here, like we said, so we're not going to be able to utilize that so much. We do have a rich resource of stone, so definitely going to be using that as our primary export. We'll look to make lots and lots of dressed stone and get a good network up exporting all of that. We've got some clay and salt as well. And other than that, I think we'll need to produce war bows and possibly some shields as well, wooden gears, anything that we can sell that we don't need an additional resource node to create. That we can export for a decent value, because I suspect we are going to need to buy in a fair amount of resources if we're going to get this up to the large town settlement level without expanding from inside of these roads. And if I can, and I'm not sure if we will be able to, if we can, I'd like to keep it shy of where the wild animal deposit is, which really means just in this area here. And I think to emphasize that, why don't we start by taking a road across here and across here, up there, and then just work away around the outside of the wild animal breeding area with a gentle curve, which I always think looks great on the edge of a planned settlement, to have a near perfect circle, which are not the easiest things to achieve in Manor Lords. Pop that there. Hope you can't see it anyway from this view because there's a big old person in the way. But yes, big old person. Big old hunter right in the way. What an absolute knob. Okay, well, that there, that road, nice crescent cut out of that. So that gives us this area here to work with. So we're in March. I think it's time that we looked at doing a bit of a road layout first, probably. And then we'll look to get our starting settlement down with a nice strong resource start, because we've got the finances in our treasury to do it. Yes, we're rich boys now. Yes. Righty ho then. So, have those trees been cut down? Well, never mind. I guess that was Town getting greedy. I suppose if they can plant in other regions, then they can cut down in other regions as well. So, I like the idea as well. I mean, this may be pushing things too far, but if we can turn this into a walled settlement, that would be really nice. That wall will probably be outside of this road, and then this will be a ring road within the settlement itself, because we put the wall on the inside of this, that's really going to restrict the space that we have available to us. I think as well, I'd like to base this settlement on a kind of a central design, where in the center we have most of our industry, all of our granaries, storehouses, etc., that then feed the saving completes, then feed the surrounding burgage plots, which I think will kind of surround the outside perimeter of this here, possibly with some industry over here to do with, chopping down wood, which will primarily happen in this area over here. And of course, the stone camps will be external to the main settlement itself. So with that in mind, we need to establish now a goodly sized, shall we say, a goodly sized village green. So that's nicely aligned to the edge of the map. This road isn't quite straight, is it? I wonder if we replace this road. If we take our favourite measuring tool, yes, the corpse pit. I wouldn't be without it. I wouldn't dream of being without the corpse pit. If they ever do anything to my beautiful corpse pit, I'll be very angry and very upset. And there's no telling what typical T can get up to when he's displeased, shall we say, with the moves of the powers that be. Connect up the end of that road there. And let's get rid of these corpse pits before I get terribly excited. Okay, so that's lined that up a little bit nicer. And then I think we'll use, once again, you guessed it, the corpse pits, to align a kind of central area that I think will keep largely square. So if we start roughly 2/3 of the way across, we'll put one down there. And I think this central space, which will probably end up housing the church as well, I would imagine, should probably be rectangular in shape, possibly with corners curved or cut off, although I'm not 100% decided on that yet. Roughly rectangular, but how long do we take it? Possibly out to about here. Make sure that we've got plenty of space in it, because of course we can always make it smaller, but if we built burgage plots around it, we can't necessarily make it any larger. And if we run out of space for sufficient granaries and storehouses, that's going to be a problem. Having said that, if we are keeping the town as small as we possibly can, then there's a goodly chance that we're not going to need quite the number of granaries and storehouses that we saw we did need over in typical T-land, which by the way has had some fairly extensive additional dwellings popped down here at the bottom to support the massive population we have there. So we're going for something much, much smaller here that would fit inside of the typical T-side itself. Okay, so I think that is a good start. Let's square this off with some road building. Start by building out these roads onto the ends here, to the snap points, and I do like the idea of curving, or at least angling these corners. Let's see what an angled corner looks like. I quite like that. And then let's compare that to a curved corner, which might look something a little like that. Well, I hate that, so that makes that decision for me. It would need to be a wider curve if we were planning on curving it. So let's delete those and carefully snap the ends in here. And would you look at that? It's been barely 5 minutes and typical T has already built a hexagon. Splendid. Well, that gives us the initial shape and layout of our settlement. I kind of like the idea of doing a build where this inner line is mimicked perfectly by an outer line for the settlement, but that's not something we're going for this time, I don't think, with a lovely little emerald, I guess, in the centre of that. Emerald Town. Emerald City has a nice ring to it. I'm not sure about Emerald Town. Okay, can we find... I know I just deleted all of these, and I sincerely apologise that I might be placing them back down again. But I would quite like to find where the exact centre point is here. Is that going to be harder than one would imagine? That looks like the exact centre of the end point. So let's build in from there and see if we can't find it. Because a road running all the way through the middle would probably be a splendid idea. Okay, so that tells us that it is there. We'll do the same. Can't quite fit one there. Well, we can mimic it on the bottom here anyway to let us know exactly where that snap point needs to be. And put another one here. Connect that road down like so. And then continue that up. We will do to that snap point. Let's then delete these two, get them out of the way. And that should allow us to continue these up here. hopefully we can just might just have to estimate where this one goes. That looks pretty straight. Although not perfect, maybe a little bit more to the right. Something like that there. How does that look from above? That looks pretty good. So we'll get rid of that one, we'll get rid of that one, and we'll get rid of that one as well. And then we'll snap from there to there. Delete this one here, build that one there. Good stuff. Yeah, it's not perfect, but I think I'm happy enough with the straightness of that. He lies. Not happy at all. That definitely needs to be more over to the left. That looks better. Eye that up down there. Yeah, good. And let's do the same with the ends. I think just to make our lives easier, we'll build out a few corpse pits to the side. Just to give us a straight reference with the snap point at the entrance to the corpse pit. From there, where there isn't one here, that's handy. If we take another one and we pop it there, does that maintain its snap point? It does. Good. Build that. Delete this. Use that to line up with the white lines on either side of that road there. Didn't look perfect, so we'll try again. Just try and judge that. There we go. Delete that one, and we'll repeat the same process over on this side here. I might line up the actual entrance points there. Maybe that'll give me a slightly more accurate way of judging exactly where these need to go by lining up those circles that overlap there, rather than the actual square outline of the corpse bit. Get rid of that. Eye this one up by going nice and straight down above. Okay. And then we'll just connect those together. Right, how's that look? Good, that looks good. Good start. I just had a really nice idea. If we actually planted more trees in the wild animals area, we could then continue the road all the way around and have a secondary walled section here, and it could be the Manor Lords hunting ground and a walled garden. Well, I like the idea of that very much. Might have to think about that later. To the extent of wondering whether we get that road put around here now. Let's do it. Let's do it while we're thinking about roads. No. Naughty. While we're thinking about roads, let's take this all the way around the wild animals so that it's nicely laid out and protected for when we do some construction later on, and for if we do want to make it into a walled manor hunting ground for the Lord, who of course is me, when I'm visiting from my other manors. Yes. Well, if this ends up being my walled manor, this may be my manor of preference, my permanent residence. Yes. Do rather like the sound of that. Oh, splendid! We've reached the other end of the road. Good stuff. And doesn't that look lovely? Gosh, I love circles almost as much as I love rectangles. Shapes. Yes, I do apologise for my my shapely behaviour. Alrighty then. We're going to need to get a saddler's camp. And I think we ought to put this probably over here on the right hand side, as much as I'd like to have it in the centre, because we are going to need it near one of the food sources. However, this is a good question. Do we go near food source, or do we go equidistant between two food sources? That, my friends, is the question. The question. I think we'll get more out of the animals, because there are lots of them, and we can get probably going to get the hunting upgrade, despite the fact we're going to be primarily focusing on mining. I think food production is going to be more of an issue than mine production, the stonecutters camps, etc. So that's probably the direction we're going to specialise in. So let's get the settlers camp, and let's pop it right down here on the corner. And we'll go for the plentiful start, because we can. There's something in there from some kind of DIY company. It just popped into my head. Obviously, the marketing agency has done its job and has embedded that phrase within my head. And I shan't say it because I shall repress the need. Yes, repress it. Oh yes, repressing. Anyway, British nature coming out there. What am I doing? Help, everyone. What's Typical got up to? He's simply lost his marbles. If you could help him find them, that would be most satisfying. We've got plenty of materials to start with, so let's go ahead and build a little granary and storehouse that may end up moving further in later down the line. I might not upgrade these to the larger level, but I want them to be nice and close to where we're starting so that we can get the starting goods nicely stored safely away. And then we might as well do the same in terms of where we're going to get down our first burgage plots. Or do we put them over here? Yes, more questions. Well, maybe let's focus on getting a few necessities down, like the logging camp, for example, which we'll just put here, basically opposite the granary and storehouse, and we'll treat this as a little starting zone. So I think we'll let them get on with construction of those, and oh goodness, more tax. It's always more tax. And then once we've built those, we'll start addressing where the houses are going to go. But I think what we might do, because we've got plenty of money, is straight away we're going to order another ox, and we'll make sure to get the hitching post popped down for that. And again, for now, it would seem to make sense to put these right next to each other in the little starting area that we have set up for ourselves. And there we go. You see, what we've done there is we've made a bomb. But that'll be changed in future. I wonder if things don't even work out that you could do that there. Is that a perfect triangle? I don't think so. We're just making it into more of a bomb, aren't I? Let's get rid of that. And then let's take our Burgage lottie. And I think we need to start at the top and come down. Oh, why isn't that snapping? How bizarre. Right, okay, well, we'll get as far in here as we can. So that's our first one, and then we'll come off here and do the same. It's like it doesn't know that's there. What's going on down here? Game, are you okay, buddy? What you doing there? Okay, I guess we're placing manually. Not that that's a problem, it's just odd. Okay, so get that one there, and then we'll do the same down here. Now that one worked fine. And then one here. And once again, lose that snapping point. But we get one out to there. Okay. Not a problem, but that'll give us a place to put our starting families. We'll need to put an expansion on one of them pretty swiftly as well to get everyone set inside, but those are the four that I want to start with in any case. Well, they took their jolly sweet time about it, but there we have our 4 properties. We're going to put expansions on all of these straight away. We've also got a family working at the hunting camp, and we took families out of the storehouse and granary temporarily to allow them to work on construction. We've got a little food coming in. Most of our food, however, is provided by those large resources we bought in to start with. And we do have a little bit more starting regional wealth as well, so we may be able to get some carrots or some beets maybe, because that'll be the cheapest way, planted pretty much straight away before we start exporting anything. Of course, putting the expansions on these will also open us up to finally get a little bit of migration in. With migration on the mind, we should definitely be getting down our first well, which will pop down here in the middle. And it may also be a good time to start thinking about setting up a granary and a storehouse more centrally located in here. And probably a stone gathering camp as well. It may be that the small stones we gather initially could provide some of the initial income in terms of exports. Let's put this on the end here, so it's reasonably close to the stones, or maybe here. It won't change the amount they have to walk terribly. It'll be a bit closer to the storehouse we're going to build, so we'll pop that one there. And then we'll put our first granary in the centre here. And our first storehouse on the other side of the road, and we'll get that tucked in as tightly as we can. And actually, let's do the same with this granary here, so we're not wasting any space, because space is going to be at a premium here if we want to stay inside of those roads. Okay, yeah. We'll go there. It's basically opposite that, isn't it? Splendid. We've barely touched the wild animal deposit. 27 out of 28 are still there. So let's go down to the hunting camp, go to the advanced tab, and let's set a wild animals per herd. Let's go to 16 as a reserve. And that's going to enable them to do plenty of hunting without overhunting and allowing a decent amount of breeding to still happen. I don't know if having a higher number of wild animals will make them breed faster, but that'd be something interesting to find out if any of you know. While they work on getting the granary and storehouse constructed, and the well, of course, so we've got a water supply, let's also look at getting some vegetable plots. Of course, we're going to need some planks for that. So that's another part of industry we're going to need to get set up nice and quickly. So we'll get a saw pit here, and we'll pop that right next to the hitching post. And let's set that to a high priority so we can get some planks made so that we can start to get something in the ground this year. There it is. So at the saw pit, let's assign a family down here. We'll go to advanced, and we want a timber reserve, and we'll set that to 8 logs initially, so we've got plenty enough sat around to build with. And we don't want to be producing any more than 60 planks for the time being. Seems like plenty. If you're enjoying the video and have the time, it would warm my tea if you could pop me a like, drop a comment with feedback, or subscribe. But regardless, thank you for joining me, and no, I appreciate you. We've still got some supplies actually sat out here, so let's get a family working at the new storehouse, and hopefully they'll gather in any supplies left out in the open. And there we are, settlement level, small village reached. The first step in our advance to a large town. Yes, another large typical town. Now, of course, that does give us now the option to select a specialization. So we'll go onto the perks screen and we'll select our origin. Now, as I said, we could go for the Strasbourg Masons, and that will give us better stonemason stations, reduced castle planning costs, which is nice, and improved stone gathering camp. That is important because we're going to be making a lot of stone and exporting it, but it's not actually going to massively affect the amount of stone I think we can export. I think people and the logistics of exporting it are probably going to be the limiting factors rather than having the improved stone gathering camp. I could be wrong, but that's my feeling as it stands, which makes me wonder if it's worth going for of the Vogtland. So that gives us the upgrade of the hunting hound, which is going to massively increase the amount of small game we have available to us at any given time. It's going to give us an increased export price on minor trades and increased capacity for forage goods, so that's also going to help us as far as our mushrooms are concerned. Decreased agricultural efficiency, but we're not doing a lot of, or any in this case, general farming. So I think it's between that or the masons. The argument for masons being we're doing a lot of stone exporting, and the argument for Vogtland being we can increase the amount of food we're producing domestically without having to buy it in. So I think we're going to go for Vogtland, so we'll unlock that. Perk unlocked. Fantastic. So straight away, let's go to the hunting camp, and let's order in hunting hounds, because it only costs 14, and that's going to massively increase our passive income there. Stone gathering camp is coming together. We've got the granary here as well. Let's pop a market stall down, and I think it would make sense to put this maybe in the corners, because that's something we can mimic on all sides. And what's the most efficient way to place this down? We want to follow. Doesn't seem to want to snap to the insides of these rows, does it? So we may have to come around this way and go like that. That's not giving us loads of space, is it? Odd shape like that. Maybe, okay, maybe we will end up going in the middle then. Or we could go on the outside edges. That's going to give us a nice long straight area to place them. Turn off snapping there, and if we get it so that it is 3 deep perhaps. Yeah, okay. That looks a good start. And already you see how, as it fills up in here, just with a few buildings, we really haven't got loads of space to be playing with. Once all the goods have been moved out of this storehouse and this granary, then we'll be able to get rid of them because they are only temporary. Let's relocate the starting hitching post, and we'll get that tucked neatly in here, as close to the market as we possibly can. And we should have a few planks tucked neatly away now in construction. So let's go down and put the vegetable garden extension on all of these 4 properties we've built so far. And we're down to 1 available living space, as we've got quite a few people moved in already. So we'll need to make sure that we get some additional housing set up so we don't affect the number of people we have coming into the town. For that, I think let's address some of the tighter construction of the smaller Burgage plots. Again, road snapping doesn't seem to be a fan of our layout here. So we want these to be as small as they can possibly be, while having space at the back for a rear garden. I think what I might do, find the end here, and let's build a road straight up, so that it gives us a point to start in. And we're slightly too close, it looks, to the inside here. So what if we come off a little bit more? Okay, yeah, so that will work. Can we get any closer on the left there? We can, and we want to bring this down as far as we can until we're almost getting the extension at the back disappearing. So a little bit too tight there. So just up a tiny smidge more. And just enough that we've got them. And that's what we're going to want to do. Now we need to wait for a couple of timber to come in so that we can build those. And actually, to do that, we're going to need to set up the limit on the saw pit to let us get to 10 logs potentially, because otherwise we're going to turn them into timber, because we set our limit to 8. We'll see if it ticks over. No. So let's go down and alter the number of logs we want in reserve. Let's put that down to 12 perhaps, as we're running a bit shy of food here. So we've got a few spare workers. Let's get a worker in the hunting camp, a second family, so that we can bring in as much small game as we possibly can to help feed everyone. And then come back and see if we can't replicate where we had our road Burgage plot outlines here previously, to fit in as much as we possibly can. Or just a smidge more on the left there. Ooh. And more again. Come along now. There we go. That's more like it. Pretty happy with that. So we'll go ahead and build that and get rid of that road there. And we're going to spend 54 on some seeds to get some beets popped down in the ground. Taxation goes up there. And we'll get 2 spare workers in the stone gathering camp to start bringing in stones for us. Let's get a woodcutter's lodge and pop this down near our... Ooh, make sure we've actually got a road to service it. Pop this down next to our logging camp to make sure we start bringing in the firewood that's going to be oh so important during the winter months. And we might as well, alongside that, get a charcoal kiln placed straight down as well. And we'll just continue this road down to the King's Road for the time being. Some of this industry may end up relocating over here a little bit later on, but seeing as this is where we've already started, it seems to make sense to put everything down there. Let's put both of our hitching posts up to stables. And we've just got the one family working on construction and guiding the ox, so that's slowing down construction of the burgages somewhat. let's just assign a high priority, or very high priority, to the Burgage plots, so we get them constructed. We're up to 3 months on the food supply, so it looks like they're doing their job down at the hunting camp, but we are now down to the minimum number of wild animals. But that shouldn't matter for the hunting hound upgrade, which should just keep hunting regardless, providing us with a passive income of small game. And we're not going to be getting any mushrooms this year, but there is 114 available come the start of next year. And given our proximity to Shroomville, I'm sure our neighbours will be very happy with what we're setting out to achieve there. Trading post. So of course we're going to need to trade away all that lovely stone as we gather it. So it would make sense to me to put the trading post somewhere near both the stone and the King's Road. And that's going to be down here. And again, I don't want to put it right against the outside road, but hopefully I want to put it far enough away from the centre here that we leave space for some tightly built Burgage plots as we get the first couple constructed over there. And just as soon as we have another family move in, I'll get them working at the Woodcutter's Lodge to make sure we have the fuel we need to survive the winter. We may need to import some food. Having said that, hopefully we'll get some beets out the ground before too long next year, and that'll help see us through. There's the additional family moving in, so we'll put them down in the Woodcutter's Lodge. With those Burgage plots coming together, we can see we've definitely got ourselves a food problem. There's 21 out of 28 animals though in the wild animal area, so I'm not sure why we aren't hunting them. That would be why. It looks like all of the families at the hunting camp are sick. So let's try unassigning and reassigning. No, we want to get different workers here. So let's go over to the families that have just moved in, and let's see if we can't assign... Oh, that's the Woodcutter's Lodge. It's not what I wanted to do at all. Let's see if we can't assign those families to the hunting camp instead. And you two are going to go and work at the hunting camp. Lovely. So that way we can actually continue hunting. Rather unfortunate that both of the families we had working down at the hunting camp got sick at the same time. So hopefully that will see us through. There's high spoilage, so we want to make sure we're eating it as soon as we get it. To that end, let's get a family working at the granary so we can get it out of the hunting camp and sent over to the granary. Now, I would have thought that in the snow it would keep it lovely and cold and it would last a long time, but you know, what do I know? How are we doing for stone? We've got 73 rubble stone already. It's a little while till we get the trading post popped together though, so we're not going to be trading immediately, but I do want to hang on to that regional wealth until we do get that far. That being said, we can start to build the animal pens with the excess we have of planks ready. Excess we had of planks, I should say. Ready for later on when we do buy animals for them and start producing a little bit of food through them. This granary is empty, so we'll get rid of it. And we'll keep that storehouse just until it's empty. But we're going to actually disallow it from accepting any more goods. And hopefully they'll then be moved over into the storehouse here instead. I think like we did previously, we are down to just 1 month of food supply. We might operate another airlift or land lift or mule lift of vegetables in from a neighbouring town. So let's go over to Shroomtown, where we still have the great pack stations that were used to save typical T-Town when they were struggling. So we're going to employ a whole bunch of people at these, order a mule in when there isn't one, and we're going to set up these to trade, barter, with our new region as opposed to the typical tea land they were previously going to, and set all of these up to ho, I suppose. Let's not get into me trying to pronounce things, shall we? We know it never ends well. We don't need to go there. Let's just avoid it. Now, we're going to send... What are we going to send? A bunch of vegetables. I think probably beets would be a good thing to send. They're going to have a low value. And rubble stone will be what we get in return, because that's what we're producing a little bit of down in the old Huln, or whatever it's going to be called. I think we'll need to come up with a better name. A better? Not a bitter name. A better name, not a bitter name. Good grief. Once again, my skill at talking has forsook me. Okay, very good. And let's set you to all send a lovely bunch of beets to your friends. And now they are just going to give you some stones in return. Now, I know what you're thinking. Food in return for a bit of stone is not a great trade. But you're doing this out of the kindness of your hearts, not for profit. Okay? You hear me? As I was saying previously, before I got terribly distracted by an aside, well, I think we'll need to come up with a better name in future for Homeland. And I've got an idea of what that might be, but I don't want to talk about it now in case I change my mind. So, ha ha ha, you'll find out later. Except you already know because you've obviously seen the intro to the video. But I don't know yet. But maybe I do know. Who knows? I'm confused. We've got a few planks. No, we don't. We don't have a few planks. We only just started making a few more planks because we've been doing some building. Not to fear. Could purchase some more seeds, but that wouldn't help us at this time of year anyway. Now, I don't know actually how the pack mules will arrive from our lovely shroom town we've got over here. Because we don't have any bartering posts actually within Hu Distad anyway. So it'd be interesting to see where, as I finish this road here because it's bothering me, where this fellow goes. Where are you going? And why are you walking without a mule? Never mind. You're all coming down here. Are you going to go to the granary? Or to the storehouse maybe? Going to visit both? Now you've gone to the granary. Oh goody, look at all the beets coming in. Oh, well, that was a lovely quick solution, wasn't it? And have you eaten them all already? No, 20 left, okay. And I guess then they'll take the stone from here. Good stuff, well. Solution well and truly found. Let's upgrade the storehouse while we're at it. And we need a few more planks for the granary. Let's get a few workers in the trading post. And what are we going to do here? We want to be exporting rubble stone. Anything over, let's say 100. Not 4,100, goodness no. Anything over 100 to make sure we've got enough for the barter connection so that we can trade our beets for stones, as we are doing so lovely at the moment, which is why we're up to 6 months on food. Wonderful, we've solved the problem instantly. And then we'll need to get our charcoal being produced as well. That'll be what we do next. So let's open export on rubble stone. And with all that extra money we still have left over, let's order a horse. That sounds like a terribly good idea. And let's get a family working at the charcoal kiln. And already we're out of space for people moving in. So that's something we should probably look to resolve. And indeed we shall. And to do so, we're going to build, you guessed it, more burgage pots. Let's build a road off here as we did last time to get a consistent end location for this here. See if we can't snap off that corner, even though we know it won't snap off this one for some reason. And once again, we want to get this as small as we possibly can while allowing space for an extension at the rear. And that looks just... oh, blimey, get out of the way. That looks just about perfect. So we'll plant that down there and get rid of that road. And look at that, we've got a bit of supply chain going on. Oh, very nice. All of a sudden, we're no longer just a load of ruffians in tents. We've got a bit of guile, a bit of get up and go about us. As the large granary comes together, and we've got full bellies full of beets for once. I was hoping that we would produce rather more from the hunting camp, to be honest. But, you know, it is what it is. As we stash away literally hundreds of beetroots. I think actually that's probably done for what we need the pack stations to do. So we're going to unemploy everyone at these pack stations. Let's not trade away all of the food in Shroomtown, which we've made a good start on. There should be more than that's 11 months. It's fuel actually that's the issue here. Oh dear, Shroomtown. Do I have to come back later and check how you're getting on? Oh goodness. collapsing everywhere. You've got enough trees, so you shouldn't be having a problem with fuel production. What are you short on? Charcoal. You trading away charcoal? No? No, you're not. Where is your charcoal production? Getting terribly distracted here. There's one there. One there. They're both fully manned. Might have to build an additional one. Oh, how bizarre. Like I say, it's not been a problem before. We'll get in there. And yes, yeah, you sort yourself out. Right. Back to the matter at hand. Which is, of course, Gestad. Yes, I think we'll ignore the goodbye. Don't need you. Now, we are going to want to import some iron so that we can make our own tools. And go away. Goodness, 5,700 on the royal tax. Absolutely robbing me blind. We'll want to trade internally for iron ore. For a desired surplus of, say, 80. But we can't afford to open that yet because we've not brought in any money. But hopefully we soon shall, as we export the highly valuable resource that is rubble stone. Oh, heavens. Okay. Food is good. Fuel is good. And indeed, people are good. Times are prosperous in Gestad. So nearly now, we're waiting for a bit of money to come in is what we're doing, I suppose. Plenty of stone to be gathered here, so why don't we get another 2 workers at the stone gathering camp. We'll get another one at the trading post. And once we've got a bit of money coming in, we'll get a few more horses. And then we'll look to start buying the vegetables we need for over here. While all that is proceeding, I think it might be time to build a mimic of this here on this side. And possibly we'll put down some fruit trees in those. And I wonder if 4 here and 4 there will give us everything we need in terms of vegetables and fruits. Time will tell. I'd be very surprised if it's enough, actually. But, you know, we can always dream. Now, excuse me. Me and my corpse pits have an appointment. Good stuff, and with those down, our road layout, we can then get straight on to popping in our burgage plots, and once again, having to turn off snapping, which is rather irritating for getting things lined up in the right place, but I'm sure we'll manage. It's probably because the roads aren't all one single long roads. Right, let's come off this side a little bit further. Okay. Nearly to the corner there. Good stuff. And do this side. Okay. Do the top over here. I swear that road's a little thicker there, isn't it? It's irritating. See if we can't fix that by replacing the whole road. What about just this section of the road? Yes. That should allow us to do it. It's because of where that Burgage plot is. Okay. Interesting. Learn something new every day. Something new every day. What I don't know is why this one isn't working. It's very frustrating. I'm quite irritated. It's not that corner. Is it we're too far in here? Start out a little bit further. Let's pause the game. See if we can't work it out. No, I don't want you to say anything. I know you noticed I was out of resources, and I hadn't noticed, and I was getting annoyed at why it was red. I know I don't read things enough, and I know I have 0 timber. I don't know what you're talking about. I've not admitted to anything. I'm just happening to wait for 2 timber to come in, and when that comes in, we're going to go over here and build that Burgage block. I knew we didn't have enough. Just testing you all, really. You know. Like to keep you all on your feet and all that. Yes. Well, at least resources are looking good. Hopefully soon we'll get a little bit of regional wealth. Yes. I do like to be wealthy, and after all, who doesn't? Still waiting for that additional timber to come in. Let's just sit here patiently and wait. Finally, a second timber has come in. Goodness, that took a long time. Yeah, sometimes the amount of time it takes to get a settlement up and running can be frustrating, but we'll get there. Well, they took their time about it, but we finally got those 4 Burgage plots constructed, and already we're nearly full up on the number of people we've had move in. Let's get these set up ready for orchards, for when we can afford to buy things in. Get those 4 set up there, and wait for a few more planks to be put together for us. How are we doing on the old trade front? So, we've got stocking up and transporting goods for sale apparently, and waiting. Well, what are you waiting for? You're meant to be exporting, and actually we've finally just come over the surplus for 100 rubble stone. We'll maybe reduce that to 80, now we're not actively trading it for food. And hopefully that means we can finally get some regional wealth into Gestad. So we have a few spare families, and the marketplace is looking rather stretched, especially on the storehouse side. So let's get an additional family working at both the granary and the storehouse, and we're also going to upgrade the granary. Good stuff. And that's done a nice job of taking care of the store supply chain. Good. But let's also get another storehouse built as close to the first as we possibly can. Just like so. And we'll do the same with the granary on the other side of the road to make sure we have that continued storage capacity and also supply chain capacity, which is probably more to the point. Now, our residents are probably thinking, oh gosh, I'd like to upgrade, but I simply don't have access to a church, and I'd rather like to give them that. So let's see if we can't go down the old residential tab and build a wooden church. Let's pop this over on this side here, and we'll face in towards the center road. Good. We'll build that one there. We've had a little bit of regional wealth come in from the first sale of stone. Let's get another family. We've got 4 families actually working at the stone gathering camp already. And how much are we gathering in? Probably need to get a bit more if we're going to make much more money on it. So I'm wondering if we go as far as to get a second stone gathering camp, just to see if we can't exploit the stones on the surface as much as we can before we actually get over there and start doing some mining. I think though we should probably construct a road down here and let's make it a little bit curved. Maybe let's come a little bit further on that first point here away from the wall before we curve it around. And it could even take just maybe 3 points. Oh, we could go straight, I suppose. Don't need to curve it at all. Yeah, okay. We'll go with that for now. We'll call that the Quarry Road. There we go, and they're all using it. Obviously, very happy to have a path to work on for once. Of course, we are going to want more horses. That'll also help with the export capacity, but I think probably production of rubble stone is currently the limiting factor for us there. And as much as the food boost was given to us, we are going to need to start thinking about getting some more vegetables planted, so that doesn't become a limiting, constraining factor. And there we have it, the church taken care of nicely. So the limiting factor now is the meat, fish and animal produce. It's going to be a little while until we get the animal produce set up, but I would have thought we can get meat fairly quickly. Waiting. What are you waiting for? There's 28 wild animals there. A rich resource node. Concerning. Any of you actually hunting? Harvesting. Waiting. Storage full. Are we full of pelts or something? Maybe they should be going to the storehouse. Yes. How bizarre. There's a carcass in transit, yes. I wonder if we need to get another family working at the storehouse. We'll get a third one there. Just to see if it's the pelts that are taking up space. They're gone now. And yeah, you're back to hunting. So that is an issue. We need to make sure we keep the hunting camp well and truly drained of resources then. It may even be worth putting it next to the storehouses over here. They'll have further to walk to hunt, but if the limiting factor is getting materials out of the hunting camp, then it may be worth moving it. In fact, what we can do is set up a second hunting camp and put one family in each. And perhaps that'll mean that we've got less problems with waiting for it to be emptied. And we might as well put it up here. Let's turn off snapping action, have it just opposite there, with space to put a road above. And we'll build two, with the idea of them replacing this one we've got down here. I've also increased the number of planks we're going to have stocked away to 120, and there we go, the first property ready to be upgraded, and we will oblige straight away. Got a bit more regional wealth, not quite enough to get carrots or carriages yet, but I am going to order in another horse. And get two more families working on stone gathering, so we've got the resources we need to trade away. Still got plenty of tools at the moment from that prosperous start that we went for, so we don't need to worry about that immediately. And the third storehouse worker has done a good job with the supply chain issues we were facing previously. So it's looking good, we're heading in the right direction. We've definitely got a bit of a problem with pelts, etc., and a lot of waiting here. So let's unassign both those families. And let's get both assigned up here. And we'll give both the hunting camp upgrade. But we're going to wait for a little bit more money coming in to initiate that one there. I'll leave this hunting camp here for a moment until it's in our way. Because it's already got that upgrade actually. And there's just not much storage space in these, is there? 12 storage space. I wonder if that's going to be a continued issue as we go forwards. We've got enough workers. We'll have 3 of them operational. Splendid stuff. So I think we're going to wait a little bit just for a bit more money to come in so we can start buying some animals here, start getting some vegetables in the ground, and a few more upgrades down here to build these into animal pens. We might as well assign those right away. We'll also get the Burgage plots upgraded as and when they have a bit of meat availability from our hunting hounds, which should be fairly frequently, especially with 3 families working over here and 27 out of the 28 wild animals. So we'll keep doing that. And once we've got a little bit more money set aside and we're looking to build some more Burgage plots, we'll start moving on up into getting some proper mining of the stone in with some quarries and some stone dressing and look towards further upgrades. Good stuff. Well, we've got up to the medium village settlement level already, so that's good going. And we've made a few upgrades. We are a little bit shy on planks, and that's actually the current restraining factor. And we're actually a little shy on logs, which is the reason why we're shy on planks. And the reason we're shy on logs, I think, is probably because we're shy on ox power. So we've got 141 regional wealth that's coming from the trades we've been making. First off, I'm going to get some carrots planted. But once we've done that, I'm going to go over to one of our stables and order in our 3rd ox. And while we're thinking about oxen, we'll also look to get down a couple of additional hitching posts so that we can continue to get more oxen imported for our various construction needs. And we'll get this one popped down just in here next to our other stable as it is. Not quite space for a road there, but I don't think that's too much of an issue. Could do with an additional family working at the granary, so we'll get our 3rd family assigned there and that'll take care of that need for the time being. We're not really making much of a dent, I should say, into the wild animals, and that's with 3 hunting camps active. We're going to upgrade the 3rd one to give us a hunting hound, provides +1 small game and +1 pelts on every successful hunt. So that'll give us an additional income of, or additional source of meat, I should say, and pelt. And we're probably getting a fair number of pelts tucked away. Indeed, we've got 161, so turning those into leather at some point is going to be a good idea, both for export and so that we can make leather boots a little bit later on. Ooh. And we've got some planks coming in, as we can see, giving us a couple of opportunities to upgrade. Now, our level 2s are going to need more than one type of vegetable. That won't be a problem. We'll be able to get that as soon as our carrots are up and going. We need animal produce, so that could be from milk from goats, potentially, and also fruits, and we're looking to get some of those planted at the orchards on the left-hand side when we have the finances. Garments, we're going to need to get some sheep sorted out, and beverages, obviously, is going to be an importing game. So let's get a animal trader set up. Let's go to logistics, livestock trading post, and we'll pop this opposite the trading post here, so that we can import a couple of sheep. And we've got a bit more money there again, so trade is still going well, so we'll get some cabbages down. And has it been long enough we can get an ox? Not just yet. Trade is back in a day. I think that's what we'll spend 20 of our coin on, because the more oxen we have, and there we are, we'll order that one there. The more oxen we have, the more we'll be able to move stuff around and yeah, generally improve. Now, I think maybe getting some expansion spaces in here would be good. Get a few more people moved in. We're down to 5 months on food, but I think now we're getting somewhere with buying in the vegetable seeds to plant. That's going to solve that problem for us. Let's get that upgrade to a stone well, because we're actually outside of water access range for that property there, which I wasn't expecting. And so that's going to be beet, carrot, cabbage. So we'll probably put carrots in this one over here. And how are we doing for planks? We're up to 42. So let's go and upgrade some more of these properties. Splendid. And more taxation, but that's those couple of level 2 Burgage plot upgrades done. We'll get that 3rd one on the way there. And you should have water access by now, I would have thought. No, still not completed the stone well. Good grief. Taking their time, aren't they? We can get that upgrade done there, though. And we're still building the extensions on those. 19 regional wealth, so not absolutely tons coming in, I must say. Let's get a 3rd worker there. But again, it may be the fact that actually the issue is the rubble stone rather than anything else. We have brought in 70 iron ore, ready to kickstart our tool production process that we set up earlier with the import. But I think that is rather slowing us down in terms of how quickly we can get on our feet. So let's turn down the iron ore surplus to 70, which we're already at, so that we don't have to trade away so much of the wealth that we're bringing in. And I think we really want to get on and construct ourselves proper stone quarry before too long. Just as soon as we have the money as well, we'll get that 4th spot up and running in terms of vegetables. 5 months in terms of food, so not dire by any stretch of the imagination. A little bit to tide us over, but we are going to need some more sooner rather than later. The livestock trading post as well still needs to be put together, and once we have that, we can look to establish trade on bringing in some sheep. But for now, I'm just going to settle down and see if we can't do a little bit of growth and construction here, and I'll come back to you when we're a little bit further along. Okay, so we've got some goats in up on this row of houses here, so hopefully that's going to provide us a nice income of milk for our animal produce requirement. We've also got some carrots planted in over here. Got a few more upgrades ready to go, so we'll get all of those moving on up to level 2 just as soon as we can. Oh, looks like requirement dropped out there at the last second, but it's back, so right, that'll mean everything we've got so far is upgraded to level 2, which I quite like, getting everything done nice and quickly. Got a bit of a cluster here of oxen. I do think the more we play on this map and the more we add, because obviously we've got typical T-Town over there and Shroomtown over there, that we are perhaps taxing the game a little bit. They did say it would run better on these large saves, and it definitely is, in terms of the amount of lag that's around, but I'm not sure that all of the AI pathing is really working. But never mind, we'll just ignore that. Ignore that as much as we can and focus on our goals. Speaking of our goals, we're still waiting for money to come in. We did manage to get some quinces planted over here, so that's a step in the right direction towards food. We're halfway through the stone deposit over there. We may skip that and get some quarry set up, but I think it's time to add a little bit of additional housing so we can get a few more families in here to help us work, especially on over here, and also we can start to hopefully get some shrooms in as well, and maybe a little bit of industry too. So to that end, let's get some additional houses flanking on the sides here. So we'll do the same thing we have earlier, build a road out down there, and then get a row of burgage plots in here and make them as short as we possibly can to have that extension space on the rear, like so. And then we'll copy that over here. Now I'm hoping, I don't know if it's going to be possible, but I'm hoping that might actually be all of the burgage plots that we build, and we don't put a single one more down. And obviously we can expand the number of families we have living in them by upgrading them to level 3 and 4, which will give us an additional family per level of those upgrades for each of our burgage plots. But I'm hoping that just with those additional families we can make it work. Obviously we do have, over here we've got some goats. I think we'll put some pigs in down here, and then here we can put some chickens. That leaves us 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 burgage plots for specialised use. Hopefully we don't need more than that. Obviously that's going to give us, what is that going to give us? So a joiner, a bower, possibly a butcher. That's 3. Tailor is 4. Bootmaker is 5. So that might just about do us. Hopefully then, I think most of our export would have to come from the stone as opposed to too many specialisations in terms of wood. But I'm hoping that the smaller population will mean that although we've got far less in terms of production of things like animal produce and meats, etc., that they're going to go much further because we're going to have that much of a smaller population. I don't know if it's going to quite work out like that. We'll just have to see how we go. We're definitely going to be importing things like grains. But let's get those buildings constructed, get a few more families moved in. I think we might even free up a couple of stone gatherers to go and help with construction. One family on their own is probably going to struggle to get that done. And we've still got plenty of scope in the wild animals as well in terms of food production. So that's then freed up. We'll also get that storehouse upgraded and that granary upgraded as well while we're at it. And with the additional money we've got sat around, not quite enough, and we're still upgrading over there to get the fruits. But let's see if we can't get a number of pigs ordered to go along here. Good stuff. And then we've some construction to work on. Good stuff. That's some nice progress we've made there. And I've also got a forester at work planting some trees in here so we can fill up the rest of this circle with trees. It's a little bit bare at the moment. I'd like to get that all filled up. And we've got people moving in already and a few more spaces available for when those are completed too. We've got a little bit of money. So let's spend that on getting some apples planted over here to start making progress towards our fruit needs. And then as far as garments go, maybe we'll get a worker over here in the livestock trading post. And let's set a desired surplus of 4 sheep, for example, to start with. And let's go to the farming tab. We're of course going to need a sheep farm to manage these. We could put this in here for the time being. I'm not sure now really if we're going to need all of the space we've set aside in here. Obviously we'll need somewhere to put a tavern. I think that might just fit here. Or, might be a bit tight actually. Let's take a quick look. No, it will fit there just fine. And I think this space here alone might be enough for storehouse and granaries. So well, we can always move this at a later date as well without too much of an issue. So let's put down the sheeps, our lovely sheepy friends. We'll pop it down here, nice and tight there, and then we'll make the pasture space. It's a bit wonky actually, isn't it? Can't be dealing with that. No. It's better. Okay. Get that there. And then let's see about putting around pasture space in here. Space for 43 sheep, jolly good. And then in terms of industry, we'll need to be turning that into some wool. So we'll get a weaver's workshop and... Ooh, can almost fit it down there, couldn't we? But can't quite. So we'll pop that just up here behind the granaries and storehouse. And we'll put a road out like so. And I was thinking about potentially getting a road in here as well. And connecting that up to the back of the storehouses here. Granaries rather, to make them a little better connected. Whoop, potentially. To the markets. Now, it does show that people can walk through here. But it doesn't actually give access as a point. So, you know, couldn't hurt to have a few extra roads there. It's not space that's being used at present anyway. We will need some additional granary supply before too long as well. Let's get a pig ordered into there. And I think it's about time we come along over here and we start getting down our quarries. So let's go over to quarry. And let's see about getting this down as close as we can without actually, giving us the maximum potential to have more of these. So nice and high. I think we'll go there for the first one. Let's delete that road and see if we can get another one next to that, like so. And then hopefully we'll be able to get 3 across the center. And we'll just forsake the above ground deposit. So let's get rid of the stone gatherers camps. Demolish those. They can work on construction of these instead. And get one in the center here. Put one set off to the side as far as we can there. And then for the last, may just be one more we get down. Yeah. So put that last one there. Get this road built here. And then connect everything up. And we'll get rid of that. Let's just build a nice linear road all the way around here. Good stuff. And then we'll connect each of the corners of these out like so. Not going to be an even shape, but I think it kind of denotes the quarry area quite nicely. It's all hidden behind there anyway. And then we'll just connect this road up here to the nearest point there. And just as soon as one of these is active, we'll get some workers in there to start producing the all-important stone for our exports. We've got plenty of people working as unassigned at present, so let's take advantage of that and get as many of these burgage plots upgraded to level 2 as we can. So that's 4 down there. And these ones at the top, I think we're going to save those for our specializations. And we'll put these down here. Well, having said that, what's closer? Storehouses are that side. Yeah, we'll set these up as specializations. Although arguably it should have been these ones, but never mind. And these ones here we'll set up for our chickens. And we've got enough regional wealth. Let's go into trade. And let's establish trade on rough stone. So crafting materials, rough stone. And we'll set to export. And that's what we'll be exporting in lieu of our dress stone initially. Just as soon as we open up one of the quarries down here. Hopefully the foresters are making a bit of progress. And we definitely could do with some additional workers at the hunters' camps. Although a lot of you are still waiting. And what are you waiting for? So much hunting to be done. Hunting, praying, crafting. Just not a very useful bunch, are they? We have got some small games. It's not like we're not producing things from them. And we also have a reasonable amount of pelts, more than reasonable, 375. I'm frustrated we're not making better use of that though, but it may just be a case of more individual hunting camps are required. A few families moving in. We've got 5 living spaces left over, and we're just closing in on getting ready for the next level of upgrade. We'll get a worker down at the sheep farm, ready for when we get a few sheep moved in. And it wouldn't be a bad idea to get an additional horse. We're just 1 horse away from having the livestock we need. And we should also get a couple of stables down. A couple more stables down, I should say. And why don't we place these in here? And build this road out to connect them. I don't want to snap to that. Maybe just come up slightly like that and then draw a line down. Like so. And then we'll come out here past the trading post and connect up to that road for the time being. Make sure that we've got enough stable space for the horses that we're buying in as well. And another property ready to be upgraded. Good stuff. Well, it's all headed in the right direction. Let's let our construction workers do their thing. Right, so some progress has been made. We've got all our vegetables set up. We've got all of our fruits planted, some of which only very recently, with the pears and the apples over here. In fact, they're still planting. We've got our 4 sheep, which hopefully are going to bloom into a wonderful flock, ready to supply us with all sorts of lovely wool. We've got down here our chicken coops being assembled. We've got goats up here, pigs down here. I've popped in a tannery here, where we are going to employ a family with immediate effect, so they can start making use of the massive stockpile of pelts that we have to start making some leather. We've got 4 horses down at the trading post, and they're quite happily trading away with the rough stone that we are producing. And let's just go and double check. I don't know why we've got a limit set on the rough stone export. We'll put that down to 0. Obviously, when I established it, there was a few left over. And finally, it took a very long time, but we have got all of our lovely cursed quarries popped together with a lovely bit of terrain overlapping. So hopefully that gets fixed at some point. We've got 4 families working away on those. We've also put down a forager's hut, getting a family working in there, and we're going to construct a herb garden also, and hopefully it won't be too much of a walk over to the mushrooms over here for them. Now, that only leaves us with 2 unassigned families for construction, and we obviously haven't got any stone dressing stations set up just yet. And also I'd imagine we're still okay actually on supply and demand for the granaries and the storehouses. Now, like I said earlier, I don't really want to build any additional burgage plots. I quite like the number we have here, and it should be more than enough to get us up to the large town, should we be efficient enough. Now, we need garments, animal produce and fruits, and beverages. Animal produce and fruits will come in time. Now we have got all of these chickens. I'm hoping that a combination of milk and eggs, as you can see there, we've got a few spare in animal produce, will be producing enough to take care of that amenity for people. As also, we've got the orchards over here, so a couple of years' time, they'll all be producing us a nice amount of fruit and supplying all of our villagers' needs with this criteria here. When it comes to garments, like I say, hopefully we're getting a few more sheep together. It may be also we get go down to the livestock trading post, and maybe we set the number of sheep we want up to 15, because we've got a bit of spare income now. We're not spending on upgrading anything directly at the moment. So that'll hopefully take care of the garments issue, because we've got a weaver's workshop over here where we'll need to assign someone. And then when it comes to the beverages, we'll need to build a tavern here, which is something we'll do next. And we'll then just need to be importing the lovely liquid love that's going to allow us to upgrade our burgage plots to level 3. That's going to give us an additional accommodation space per each burgage plot, which is going to give us the workers we need to get our stone dressing camps up and running, greater exports going, and hopefully move towards getting a wall set around our settlement as well. But obviously, before we do that, we need to take care of our financial income. so that we can afford to buy things like the grains and the additional food variety that we're going to need if we're going to get everything here up to level 4 Burgage block, which I think, although it seems easy in some ways, having seen how long it takes to upgrade to level 4 in some of our other tender towns, it may not be as straightforward as it at first seems. But as I said, for the time being, let's go down here, go to residential, and get a small tavern constructed right next to the church, so the religious buildings are sat right next to each other. There she is in all of her glory. Goodness, there's a lot of cold, and tax assaults us with problems. Maintenance has become an issue. I take it that means, yep, we've run out of tools. That of course means we need to get a bloomery up and running so that we can smelt the iron we need, which we already have access to. Let's pop that down. Let's go over here, where we've got a little industrial sector going on, I suppose. And we'll pop that just there. And we'll need a smithy as well, which will pop next door. We're going to need a few extra families to help with that. So I think in the interim, we might go and just import some tools. And we'll go up to maybe 30, and we'll get them from local supply from our neighbours. Now, as much as I'd like to get some specialisation going over here, we don't have many unassigned families, and we are going to need those for other tasks to an extent as well. So I don't want to go assigning all of those until we actually have some of the Burgage plots up to level 3, so that we can get some additional families moving in. And you can see we're actually taking care of the animal produce on some of these now, with and some fruits as well, and eggs. Milk, fruit and eggs, and that's helping us take care of that requirement. We've actually got a few eggs sat around and a few apples, a few quinces, so it's only going to be more in the coming years, so that's going to help us out. Garments, we're still a little way off. We're only up to 6 sheep. How are we doing in terms of wool? We've got 3 wool, and we've got leather being produced nicely as well, so before long hopefully we'll be able to get some clothing. I'm just going to look at trade, because actually we do produce excess clothes elsewhere, so we could import them. Let's establish a trade route. Go to import from our neighbours only, and set that to maybe 20. And we'll see if we can afford to bring in some of those. Ale is going to be the expensive one, so we'll hold off on that just for a moment. Although we've got a little bit of money sat around. How are we doing in terms of... We've got plenty of rough stone. So I think we probably are export limited at the moment. Have a look here. So yeah, mostly stocking goods for sale. So some additional trade posts would not go amiss. Now, to make sure we keep inside of our limits, I think maybe we build a row of trade posts across here. Just past the animal trader and behind these Burgage plots here. And maybe let's get 3 trading posts constructed. Build a road out in front of those. And connect that back into the road here. And then we'll come out around this corner. Take that nice and tight there. We'll of course need to make sure we've got plenty of space for the horses that will be servicing them. So we'll get down 4 there. I'm going to build a road just there. And we're going to get down another few stables on this side, opposite the first ones. And that can be a little stable row. Splendid. Now we'll just wait to see what comes in. And before long we do need to start importing those goods we were talking about. Otherwise we're not going to have what we need to get to level 3. Righty ho then, so we have got 574 regional wealth. We have got a small stockpile of 15 clothes ready to go, so hopefully clothes are starting to make their way out onto the open market. And yep, as we can see there, not everywhere, but it looks like we're starting to get supply, especially close to the The market's here, but we do have garments supplied. We've got a couple of types of vegetables, meat, eggs, and charcoal. We've also got water and church, so just beverage now to tip us over onto the level 3 Burgage plot. And in order for us to get up and running with the production of dressed stone and get a larger export market with our new trading posts here and get the stable network full of horses, in order to do any of that, I think we need to buy in just enough of the liquid gold so that we can upgrade a few properties to level 3 and get a few additional families moving in, because we are a little bit shy on labour at the moment. So let's get over to the trading post and we'll go over to quantities. We're going to establish a trade route, which costs so much, for ale, and we want 10 at any given time. We're going to have to take a family from somewhere. How are we doing? We're turning all of the firewood into charcoal, so I wonder if we can do with one less worker at the charcoal kiln, and we'll send them to work at the small tavern. And I'm hoping that's going to allow us to get just enough people over the brink to level 3 so that we can start to make some upgrades and get some additional families moving in. Probably want to focus on the Burgage plots away from the specialists over here, because we want all of those families available for the general worker pool rather than being specialised to whatever we have over here. The first of which obviously is the tailor shop. So now it's a waiting game. We'll just have to wait and see when that ale comes in, and as soon as it does into here, we'll see it pop in and we will look to see who we can upgrade. There we have 10 ale popping into our commodities. Hopefully now we'll see that make its way over to the small tavern. You can see a couple of workers there, hopefully being dispatched to go and get it. And hopefully before long, we'll see a couple of properties ready to be upgraded. And there we have 30 ale popping into the commodities. And we're very nearly done upgrading the tavern to a large tavern, which hopefully is going to give us the additional distribution space that we need to get all of our residents appropriately discombobulated with the lovely, lovely juice of life that is ale. Yes. Rightio, come on then. Finish putting the jolly thing together. Even the sheep are working faster than you, and all they're doing is growing hair. Great Scott, man, put the rest of the plaster in. Look at him, just stood around in there doing absolutely nothing. Absolute job's worth. Find him and fire him, I tell you. Find him and fire him. It's right in there, isn't it? You don't need any floorboards, just balance on the beams and have a drink. Oh, you're ready to upgrade. Why you? That's like the last one we want to upgrade. I'm going to wait and hold out to see if we can't get some of the other Burgage plots ready to upgrade. We are going to need to upgrade those eventually, though. I suppose it would temporarily give us additional workforce until we specialise the building, and we are going to need to upgrade them all eventually anyway. Yeah. I don't care for your reasons and your sound logic. It's just not as fun, you know? It's just not as fun. Ignore the myriad of disasters happening in the events log. Those are for regions past. We don't need to worry about those anymore. Come on, 5%. Finish the tavern. Finish the tavern. Please. 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 You. Do it. You. Do it. He's magic. He disappeared. We don't want to mess with him. He's magic. No. Not getting involved in that. No, thank you. Well, we're nearly there, I suppose. This is one family with skewiff priorities. Come along now. Can't you figure out from that which one you should be building? And there we have it. Large tavern popped together and... oh, goody! Lots of people we didn't care about are ready to upgrade. Well, let's oblige anyway. And at least that'll give us some additional families, or some space at least for some additional families to move in, so that we can start fulfilling a few more job roles and expand our production and financial basis, which hopefully will allow us to continue pressing forwards with buying our way through everything we need and keep the settlement nice and small. Oh dear, you're cold. I'm so sorry. So terribly sorry to hear that. Good stuff. Well, that's a number of properties upgraded to level 3. And there's a few more on the way. We've had a few people move in already. So we'll get construction. We'll continue with construction. And what are we short on over here? Oh, we're already up to level 3 there, of course. And it is beverages. Oh, and look at that. The large village settlement level. Simply wonderful. I'm very proud of you all. You've got yourselves all the way to a large village. The next is to get you to a small town. And I do expect we'll get there reasonably quickly. All we need is probably get another family working at the large tavern to ship that lovely ale directly from the stores into your bellies. I say, that sounds simply lovely. Simply wonderful. Anyway, I think that's rather enough of me saying simply lovely and simply wonderful. How about we let them get on with construction, and we check back in when they've got a few more of them popped together. Sound good? Splendid. And there we have the next settlement level. We're moving on nice and quickly now, already up to the small town. Just heading on to that medium town now. We're officially a town. It's great, it's good, it's wonderful, it's great, it's good, it's fantastic. Yes, there's many ways to say that. Perhaps I myself have dabbled in the ale and am, in fact, a little discombobulated myself. Yes, quite. I'm losing the plot, aren't I? Well, we need to get 15 families up to level 4, and we'll hit the medium town level. Yes, very good. Now, to that end, I think we probably ought to start making some shoes. Yes. So we'll install a cobbler's workshop there and specialize you. We've got someone working back at the tannery, so we can produce the leather we're going to need for those shoes. And we're just waiting for the latest shipment of ale to arrive to hopefully get some stock back in here, as we are indeed starting to, with the aim of filling up the bellies of those level 2ers who still are aspirational towards level 3. We may even go into trade and go to commodities and increase the stockpile we want to 100, which is outrageous. But we currently have the finances to possibly contemplate having that many, and there we are. Oh, it was so close. Oh, quick. Oh, not much opportunity, is there, to get the upgrade clicking there before it moves on. You need to be hawk-eyed. Don't let it get away from us. Never. Alright, we'll continue to keep our eye out. As we upgrade, as we save, even. And we probably ought to start thinking about, yes indeed, getting more storehouse workers and probably more granary workers as well, because it's looking pretty taut. And in fact, if we're going to do that, I think we need another granary and another storehouse. So let's turn off snapping and once again get this as tight to the road as we possibly can and do the same on the other side. And just keep plugging away at that philosophy of the small, compact and tall settlement where we don't spread out too much. And just as soon as that granary is active, we'll get a few people in there before we start to upgrade it as well. Exciting times. We may need to get a third family tavern because they are spending all their time transporting and not enough time selling ale to our lovely patrons. So we'll get a third worker there just for the moment, and straight away one of the houses does pop up as ready to upgrade to level 3. Who knows if that made the difference? Oh, and there we go. We're starting to get them come through now, so we'll upgrade these just as and when we can. Come on. You know you wanna. You know you want to. It's funny, like, they have ale. Like, someone gives them a sip of ale and they're ready to upgrade. And then they swallow it and they're like, oh no, I'm out of ale. I can't possibly upgrade. I couldn't possibly do it. No, sir, you're asking too much of me. And then, you know, they see ale again across the whole way and they're like, I can get more now. I'm ready to upgrade. A fickle people they are here. Well, we'll put up with just about anything. And in spirit with that, let's go ahead and just work on a few additional upgrades. It's going to be a little while before we get to level 4, but let's finish getting upgrades to level 3. And then potentially we can look at starting to get some of those stonemasons camps up and running. Okay, so things seem to have rather stalled, and that's because we are running out of money. Down to 14 regional wealth, so we're not buying in the ale anymore. It's a very expensive product. So let's unassign the families we've got at the large tavern, not the large town even. If we were at the large town, we could stop now, but we're not, so we won't. We have 8 unassigned families, so let's get over and get a few more families working in some of the quarries. Good stuff. And then I think it's time we set up a few, because we keep talking about it, stonemasons stations. Now, do we do these out here next to quarries, or do we do it over here? I feel like the stonemasons quarries would be next to the quarry, wouldn't it? Stonemasons quarries, you know what I mean. Stonemasons stations would be next to the quarry. So let's build 3 there to start with. And connect these up to the road. Just so. Good stuff. And then we'll get a few families in there and working so we can get some dress stone produced. And that dress stone is going to have a much higher export value than the rough stone we're putting out at the moment. A granary's been completed, so let's get family working there, maybe 2. I'll upgrade it also, and hopefully that goes some way to alleviating the granary supply capacity issues that we're presently experiencing. Great stuff. Well, that's the stonemason station, the first one up, so we'll get that one operational, and we'll get a few families working there, and then I think we're going to go, and we've already got one family working at the stable here, and I don't know why one of them is waiting and one's praying. It's rather annoying. No, got nothing against people praying, but you know, you should be if you're on the clock, you really ought to be working. And then this stable here has got 2 livestock, so we will assign a family there as well, in the hopes that those family members can go around and take some of the load in terms of moving things around that at the moment I think our free workmen are doing instead of building. So with them assigned and with the stonemason station open, let's go over to the trade depot and take a look at dress stone. So let's establish a trade route, and we're going to export, and for now we're going to export everything. We're not going to worry about holding anything in reserve. And let's order a horse while we're at it as well, so we can start to get 4 horses at that trade post ready for when we employ some additional people there. Got a few specializations left to be doing here, and that second pasture we set up is filling up as well. Clothing wise, we've got plenty of clothes, and we're actually selling the excess as well. And just as soon as we have a little bit more money in the bank, what we'll do is we'll reopen the trade on getting in more ale. We'll stock up maybe to 100, and then once we've got 100, we'll open up the tavern. And the hope there being that we'll actually be able to flood the market in a short space of time and get everyone satisfied and everyone upgraded to level 3. Get those additional people in the Burgage plots, and then once we've done that, we can start looking at the requirements for level 4, which of course is going to be grains primarily, and upgrading the church, but we'll have some dress stone to hand for that anyway, and we'll import the other resources that we need. So we'll set about, really am discombobulated, aren't I? We'll set about making those things happen, and do we have clay nearby? Yeah, it's all over there. I think it's been, for the quantity that we're going to need in terms of roof tiles, I think maybe we should just import them. And we can import them from a neighbour as well for a significantly lower cost than we would otherwise have to. And we'll import mortar, of which we don't need very much. We'll bring in maybe 50. And actually, what are we doing? We don't need to import mortar. This is our stone region. We can produce that ourselves. So let's open up our very own lime kiln, and we'll put that one over here near some of the other agricultural and industrial buildings. Get that one set up. I suppose it could go down there actually. Yeah, no. It's closer to the buildings there, isn't it, in terms of where people live. Righty hoes. So that takes care of the mortar. We're going to import our roof tiles, and we've already got quite a bit of dressed stone, so that's grand. So then, for the level 4, that just leaves grain, which we can import, as we said. We've already got shoes being made, and before long we're going to be able to start exporting shoes as well, because we have a great excess of pelts. We've got 839 pelts. So I'd like to get more workers in the tannery eventually, and turn more of that into shoes to export. But let's have a look. Can we afford to open up trade export on shoes? Oh, it's 770. We're going to go ahead and do it. Just because... Oh, we'll set the surplus to 50. They're worth so much money. And every extra bit of money that we can turn into income, as opposed to just cash sat in the bank, then we can help turn that into the resource in terms of grain and the ale that we need to get everyone up to level 4. And then maybe, just maybe, we can consider a manor with an outer wall. Ooh, exciting times! Right, I'm going to go away and get some money in the coffers, and we will reconvene when it is time to get some ale in our bellies. Okay, so we have 145 ale. We need to find some workers to pop into the tavern. So we'll take a worker from the forestry, and we'll also take the worker from the lime kiln, and we'll pop them both into there. Then I think what we'll also do is, how are we doing for rough stone compared to dressed? So 49 rough stone, 51 dressed. Let's take a worker from the stonemason station and from one of the quarries, and also the foragers help potentially for the moment to free up a few families ready for construction. And maybe we'll get a third worker there at the tavern too. And hopefully in no time at all, that beverage need will be taken care of. And we'll get these last 5 burgage plots. And possibly a few up here as well, yeah. Last handful of burgage plots that are level 2 currently, up to level 3. And then before long we'll be right on to getting them up to level 4. Very nice indeed. There's the first one there already. And as always, we'll keep a hawk's eye out for when they're ready to upgrade. Good stuff. Still funny, we've got a real workers shortage, which I suppose is the limiting factor of doing a much smaller setup like we're trying to this time. Having to be much more efficient in how we use people. And to be honest, I'm quite enjoying the challenge. It's a bit of a different pace of gameplay, but it's good. Right. I'm going to unassign those tavern workers because I believe that is everything that is level 2 on the way to be upgraded to level 3. Wunderbar. So, that's a few more constructed and we're just waiting for that last one to be put together by the lazy construction workers we have. And we've got a few more workers available now as people have been moving in. So let's get workers back into the foresters' huts and also back down into the stonemasons area. We'll open up another quarry as well and an additional stonemasons station. And already that's really sapping the workforce we've got available. I've once again extended the pasture space, mostly because I didn't want to unassign people by opening up a butcher's in one of the level 3 burgage plots. We'd lose 2 families, obviously, if we do that. We will do that eventually, probably, but not for the moment. We'll hold off just as long as we can. Now, this brings us on nicely as we start to get a bit more regional wealth in, having imported all of that lovely ale. We need to work on getting our finances settled so we can buy in bread. Now, that's largely going to consist of selling dressed stone, so those additional workers we've just had move in, and the 4 additional living spaces we have now, we're going to focus them on getting the quarries operational, and possibly a few extra traders as well, so we can trade away everything that we're making, because we're also trading away clothes and shoes, which it looks like we're getting down to the levels we've set, so that's fine. We've got a fair bit of rough stone sat around, and we're not producing as much dressed stone as I would like to be. So we'll get a second worker in the stonemason station, and with one of our free workers here, I think I'm going to go ahead and get our first additional worker in the other trading post. So the second trading post is going to become active. I don't know that we'll ever use all 4 trading posts, and the stable space might be a bit excessive over here, but only time will tell. It's good to have it. And we'll get those 2 free unassigned families we have now, and we'll get the church upgraded, which will be the last construction we need to do before we head on to level 4. So let's get that upgraded now. Grand, and there we have it. The small stone church. Now the fact that it's called Small Stone Church does make me wonder for future plans for the game. We're going to get larger churches? Are we going to get cathedrals? Oh, that makes me shiver at the thought. I'd love a cathedral. Wouldn't that look grand? That really would match some of the larger regions, because I do feel sometimes that the small church, as nice as it is, the Small Stone Church, doesn't quite do justice to regions like typical T-Town over there, or even Shroomville. Maybe that's the right size for Shroomville, but you know what I mean. Anywhere over 1,000 people, I think, you know, we can start to look for a cathedral, can't we? Yeah, that'd be nice. Looking forward to see what they've got in the future. Well, we've filled up all of the available living spaces. We've put aside some fair regional wealth while we've been working on the stone church. We have a nice stockpile of ale set to one side. Let's get a second worker at that trading post. Quick review of how we're doing in terms of resources. So we have crafting materials, 62 rough stone, and we've 125 dressed stone set aside. So we're not exporting it as quickly as we are making it. So that tells me we need some additional workers at the trading post. Lovely, we are seeing money flood in. So what we're going to do as well is we're going to open up trade on some grains, because I believe we have all the materials we need for the level 4 burgages. How are we doing for roof tiles? Plenty of roof tiles in storage. Planks. Plenty of planks in storage. And we've got plenty of logs as well. Timber, what I did earlier, was I set up a few additional logging camps popped around so we could have some additional storage space set aside. As we've done so there. Good stuff. And let's open up trade on bringing in some grains. And for that, I think we will just buy in... rye bread is a cheaper trade route. So we'll import rye bread. Ooh. There we go. Oh, good grief. Oh, good grief. Come along now. Rye bread, and we want a surplus of, say, 60. Let's get a worker back in the large tavern to make sure that we've got our ale being circulated. And we do with getting a worker back in the forager's hut. So let's grab one out of the quarry and get you in there. Might as well plant an herb garden. And we are actually going to nab one more worker as well, so we can get a second worker in the large tavern. And as people move in, we're definitely going to need to start getting some more workers in the storehouses and in the granaries, because we are still looking a little bit pushed on market stall supply, and obviously as more people move in, that'll only become a greater issue. Let's get our final granary in this chain in here as well. Oh, maybe we are going to have to put it spun around the other way. It's fine. So we'll get that granary down just there. And we'll get that storehouse upgraded. And we might as well pop down another one next to it as well. And hopefully those will see us through our requirements as the town continues to grow. And as we know, it's still the case that the upgrade symbol won't show up over the top. But the little indicator will drop down, as in this little bar above the property will drop down exactly like that there. You see how it stepped down because the game thinks there is an upgrade symbol there, even though there isn't. So we'll get those upgraded to level 4 right away, just as soon as we have the opportunity. That grain must have arrived quickly. Yeah, rye bread straight away. So we'll continue to watch out for those lines dropping down as if they were an upgrade symbol. And every time they do, I'm going to pause the game and get in there and quickly make an upgrade while we can. Splendid. God, it's going swimmingly, isn't it? Didn't have to wait very long for these at all. Eyes peeled, people. Eyes peeled. Ooh, very briefly there. This is, you know, why you got to pause the game sometimes, so that you actually get it. Because quite quickly, people can go in and out of prosperity. Oh no! The problem is regional wealth. We've spent all of our monies. Let's quickly pause trade on ale, because we have a little bit of a stockpile of that. 121, and we do need to keep bringing in the bread though. Oh dear, I didn't expect to run out of money for upgrading. Although it is 50, it's a little bit more than I thought it would be. Alright, hopefully the export with 8 families working on exports will quickly bring in that money, because it's painful to see these Burgage plots come up with the ability to be upgraded and then not have the people to do it. Not have the money to do it, rather. Oh, come on! Oh, good grief! We may have to pause and come back to upgrading until we have a little bit more cash set aside. Let's do that. And let's also pause trade then on the rye bread, so we're not spending all our money. Right. Well, we've got a few Burgage plots being upgraded to level 4, and that's giving us 7 available living spaces, so that's really going to help with getting some additional families in. And cold, go away, typical tea. Getting some additional families in and getting some of the other industry properly operational. So at least that gives us a little bit of a boost in the interim, and then we'll just have to wait until our finances recover a little bit, sell a few more stone blocks before we get back to upgrading everything else. And there we have, medium town. Very nice indeed, and look at this gorgeous level 4 Burgage plots. Is that a new level 4 with the slightly yellowed tent? I do like it. It's very nice. It'd be nice to see one that's got the white lime render of this one. This is still a little bit coloured, but yeah, something like that. And maybe even the white limed timbers as well would look great. Now, I know I was holding out on these in terms of what they were going to be doing specialisation-wise, but I think while it is that we've not got them specialised into doing something, which they may not need to be anyway, I think it only makes sense that we get some animal pens set up in them. Probably should have done a long time since, but at least then they're producing something in the interim, even if we do decide to do something a little bit later down the line. 5 families available, and 61 dressed stone compared to 30 rough stone. So let's get one more family in the quarry. Maybe, go on, 2 families in the quarry and 2 families in the stonemason station. And we've still got 3 additional living spaces before we fill up, and we're up to 500 on the regional wealth. We've got 90 ale sat round ready, and we'll need to start over on the rye bread front, although we've got 2 left. So now we're just waiting for our regional wealth to grow a little bit more, do a little bit more on the old exporting side before we can get back to upgrading. Like I said, let's get some goats in over here so that we are at least producing something from those Burgage plots as opposed to nothing at all. We are going to need to think fairly seriously as well soon about getting a butcher's in place too. The level 4 Burgage plots contain 3 families, which is again giving us a nice boost to our population. We're now up to 190 people, and actually to have this many level 4 Burgage plots with 190 people is certainly not something I've done before. So it's been an interesting process. Okay, so we have 2,500 regional wealth, and I think that is enough for us to realistically go in and start buying in rye bread. We'll set that back to import, and maybe we'll try to get 100 this time. And also, ale. We'll get back to importing that up to 150, and hopefully in no time at all, we'll have a whole slew of Burgage plots ready to upgrade to level 4. Hopefully the rest of these here, and possibly these here as well. Do we have a worker in the tavern? No, we don't. So we are going to have to nick our forester once again and get them working at the tavern. And who else can we spare? I think once again, we'll need to take someone from the quarry. So we'll grab them and stuff them, no, not into the sheep farm, into the large tavern. And I wonder to just have a quick look. So, ale already coming in there. We are up to, yeah, okay, 3 rough stone. So we actually need to prioritize stone mining instead of dressing. Right, and once again, we need to keep a sharp eye out for the upgrade level. It looks like some are struggling for animal produce and fruits. That may be because of the time of year we're in, not many fruits available. But nevertheless, we will keep an eye out for when we are ready to upgrade. Basically, it looks like we're just waiting for that bread to land into our larders. And there it is, 49 of our rye bread has landed in, so I'm sure that will soon be making its way out to our residents. We should have another shipment of rye bread arriving before too long as well, and we've still got 1500 in regional wealth as well, so we've not become too poor too quickly. And was that the more coming in? No, so still at 49 rye bread, and let's keep an eye on the old upgrade path for when people start to get grains delivered to their front doors. As I said, it may be that we also need to wait for some fruits to pop in before we can make those upgrades, but hopefully our burgage plots over here take care of that fairly quickly. And there we have our first property ready to upgrade. It's actually that one upgrading to level 3, so a couple that missed out on level 3 last time. In fact, all 4 of these, and actually that one down at the end. Ooh. If we can actually get them to upgrade. Come on. Surely you have fruit. Just go out into the garden and pick one. For goodness sake, man! Just go to the garden and pick out an apple. You've got hundreds. Look, I'll prove it to you. Apples. Good grief, man. Oh dear. We may have just missed the boat on that one. Rather frustrating, seeing as you've got an entire orchard outside your front door, but there's no accounting for some people, honestly. We've got 100 rye bread. We've got 86 ale. We've got nearly no money left. Hopefully that balances out. We are still exporting goods, so we should be getting money in from those. We're up to 69 dressed stone. Oh, rough. Okay. And we'll just keep an eye out on this property, especially for when they finally realise they possess apples. Oh, and what do we have here? A whole bunch of level 3 burgage plots ready to upgrade to level 4. Oh, yeah. I like. Very nice. I say, good show. As much as I want to watch the construction, I'm kind of worried I'm going to miss an upgrade if I swoop down there to do that. Because we are indeed now getting apples, etc. in. And somehow you have even less than you did before. I guess you're all so busy picking apples that you're not going to the shops or something. Talking of the shops. Yeah, it's a little bit pressed on storehouse and on granary. Whoop! I see you. Pause the game. Level 4. Not going to miss out on that opportunity. The old dip. Whoop! The old dip. Ah, just missed you. Dip, 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 dip. Dip! Damn you! Oh dear. So confuzzled. Well, it doesn't look like they're going to dip. As I was saying, we could probably do with some additional families working in granaries and storehouses. So let's assign a family as such. Oh, and as another family settles in, we'll assign them as such also. And let's watch some construction. I do like a bit of level 4 construction. Good stuff. A whole bunch of level 4s upgraded there. Grief, that save really did lag us out a bit, didn't it? I thought that was it then. Crashy time. But no, we look to be okay. I do apologise for my rather unhinged behaviour throughout this video, but you know, you get what you get with me, and that's all I've got to say really. And look at these gorgeous colours. I really do love the autumnal colours we get here. This game does autumn quite nicely. You and you, what's your problem? Garments? Go to the blooming shops. Let me guess, it's a storehouse supply issue. Looks fine to me. Fine. Another worker at the storehouse. Goodness, so spoiled. So spoiled. And you lot, what's your excuse? Don't have enough meats or animal produce? Or fruits? Look, you could have quinces, pears, or apples. There's even eggs and milk available on the market. What's your problem? Honestly, these people are getting on my nerves. We'll just keep a watchful eye out and wait for those level 4 upgrades. Great Scott! There they are. 4 burgages, ready for level 4ing. Oh, good. Good stuff. Get those going. Oh, yes! 4 in a row. Oh, and one down here. Oh, it's all going on and so happy. Go up tax, of course. The game instinctively knew I was happy and was like, goodness, he's happy. Quick, raise the taxes. Never let them be happy for too long. Okay, well that, I think, is all the inside rows that are going to be brought up to level 4. Let's see. Gorgeous stuff. And there we have a whole new slew of properties upgraded. I wouldn't have thought we could be ever so far away from the large town settlement level. We're at the medium town now, and surely we have quite a few families set up. We do need 30 though, I believe. 30 families at level 3, I think it is. At level 4 rather. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 20. Okay, so I mean, as soon as all these are upgraded, and they have all families living in there, all 3 families, that should just about do it. Have to wait and see though, you never know. Oh goodness, granary supply is really struggling. Well, fine, you can have another 2 workers, because we've had so many people move in. Moving up to level 4 is certainly giving us a good number of workers available. Now, unfortunately, we do need to assign one of these Burgage plots. Were you ready for an upgrade? Did I miss you? Great Scott, we've got one missing. Are any of you ready? You are ready. It's hard to tell if you've dipped because you're not in a line, as it were. Right, well, you know, we'll get it. Anyone that's ready to upgrade to level 4, we will, of course, most gladly oblige. But for now, where are you? Level 3 there. Right, you do need to become a butcher. And sadly, that's going to lose us quite a few families. But needs must. And we have a bit of a sheep infestation. We do rather need to take care of the number we have. It's a bit too many. Now, you're just missing garments, which is bizarre to me, because we have like 50 of the things just lying around. Just pick them up, for goodness sake. We'll just have to keep checking on these here for when they stop throwing hissy fits and start going to the shops. Yes. Economy seems to be fairly balanced. We appear to be continuing to bring in bread and also ale. Although less ale than we had previously, although that doesn't seem to be causing too many issues. For the moment, there is still supply. You just need another meat. The butcher may actually take care of that for us. Butchers. Advanced. Right, what do we want? How many sheep do we have? 172 sheep and 81 lambs. Okay, well, why don't we set the limit to 150 sheep and 50 lambs, so that you might make meat. Production? Oh, production. Oh, nice roll on the R there. Oh, very nice. We're sure missing an awful lot, aren't you? Go shopping, for goodness sake. Now, that should put a lot of extra meat onto the market, so anyone whose gripe was they couldn't get meat should be well and truly taken care of. And ha-ha! That's you upgrading the last one on that row over there. Whoop! Whoop! It's like you really have to hunt them, don't you? In this build of the game, you've got to hunt down those level 4 upgrades. They don't show themselves willingly. But I do like the way this is starting to look now. A lovely developed village here. Nicely organised. Oh, sorry, not a village, a town. That's the whole blooming point, isn't it? Town, not a village. How's the old meat front? Yes, quite a bit of mutton coming onto the market now. Good stuff. You're short on vegetables? Honestly, sometimes they're short on the most peculiar things. You have access to all of these things. Ooh, tell you what. You can pin these, can't you? I wonder if we pin every property that's currently a level 3 Burgage plute, and we put them all down here, and then we'll know. We'll know when they're ready to upgrade, because we'll see it at the bottom of our screen. Why didn't we think of that before? It's genius! Yes, look, it's worked already. My intellect knows few bounds. It does know some, but they are few and hopefully far between. So that gives us 4. Hence, whence to watch. Whence to watch. Yes, whence to watch. Well, we'll keep an eye on these while the upgrades go on down here. Bunch of lazy people just stood around, look. Not doing much of anything. And these ones, honestly, who are these people that live here? Not very impressive. Ah! Upgrades! Oh, not enough regional wealth. Is that the problem now? Ugh. Trading post. Yeah. Oh, you're in the way. Oh no, lag. Saving game. Ugh. Upgrade. Right, just 2 left to go. And the money has taken care of itself, fortunately. I've never found a use for this pinned building tab, and now I understand. Finally, the revelation has dawned upon me. Although, you know, it shouldn't be necessary for the upgrades, should it? They should just show when you hold tab. There we are. We weren't even using this pasture. Or maybe we were. And we sent them to sleep. Right. You can be active. We've got spare workers now. You can be active. Get some forestation going. And I think we ought to increase the number of quarrymen we have going. So that, you know, we can do the quarrying and stuffs and things. Good. And then we'll almost certainly need to get a second worker at that stonemason station. Stonemason's station. Tongue twister much. And then maybe even get a few more stonemason stations. Ha 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 ha. Good stuff. Splendid. Well, with those under construction, is there anything else we ought to have over here? We seem to be okay for food, so not overly stressed about getting someone additional in the hunting camp. What are you missing? Beverages. Are we out of beverages? How are we doing for breadages? Breadages, as in bread, is fine. So let's reduce the trade on the brebs. And instead focus our monies on the drinky drinks. You've got 12 there. Come along now. I suppose you're reasonably far away from the tavern. You just teetotal, is that the problem? In which case, I should argue it shouldn't be a requirement if you're teetotal. And we've used quite a few of our planks here, haven't we, in construction of all these upgrades. But we still have some sat around with some timber as well, which is going to be good because we're going to need those for the manor later on. And we still have 6 available living spaces. Still at +2 monthly migration. Very good, very nice indeed. So much influence. 17,500. Very influential, me. Very influential, yes. Right, once again, I shall begin my watch as we wait for the last couple of level 4 upgrades available to us. Ah! And the large town settlement level has been reached. We are indeed the large town. Oh, splendid. I don't even need you upgrades anymore. Ha ha ha! Although I will keep you up, I think. Because it would be a shame to not have all of our properties up to the wonderful level 4 that we now have attained across the rest of our region here. So we'll pop those down there to await upgrading. And in the meantime, we still have a couple of spaces left for people to move in. So let's get these stonemasons stations constructed so we can get people working in there. Although we are actually going through all of our rough stone. And how much of it are we trading away? And are we out of bread? I still got a little bit of bread. Okay. Trade. Yes. Not food. Crafting materials. We're not trading away rough stone. Good. And we are... Where's my dressed stone? Where art the dressed stone? Show yourself. Construction. Exporting everything over 85. I would like a surplus of 500, please. Thank you kindly. And I need more stonemason stations. What's everyone doing? Come along, everyone. I need you to go and do your jobs. We have plenty of unassigned families. Plenty of people coming out with carts and wagons. Confuzzling indeed. With every one of our Burgage plots upgraded to level 4 and looking mighty fine, if I don't say so myself, if not a little overlapped, shall we say, in places, I think it's about time we built our manor and our wall constructed. Now, I thought a nice spot for the manor might be over here. It's a bit of green, open space, and I think the manor would be a little set away, wouldn't it, from the heart of the dwellings themselves. They'd hardly put themselves right in the centre of it. So let's go over to the old administration and select ourselves the manor. And I think we'll lump this just here. And we'll get the ye old garrison tower put next to it. And the tax office, I think, can be another building. And we'll pop that just there next to the manor. And then it comes to the walls. Walls and gates. Now, as I said, I think what we're going to do is broadly follow the road as we laid it out here, which is going to give us several ingress and egress points. And I'm probably going to leave each of them, so it's going to be 1, 2, 3, or 5 gates. I suppose we could get rid of this one here. But that road, is it much use to us? Possibly not. But I don't think we can... Oh, we can delete it in manor mode. Wonderful! We do have a need to connect that there. Okay, splendid. Walls and gates. So I think what we'll do is we'll start with outer towers. And we'll pop down a number of outer towers to sort of start outlining where it is that we want to have our wall. It's going to be rather large, this, isn't it? This may be biting off more than we can chew, shall we say. Hopefully we have the resources to finance such a construction. I'm seeing the log cost tick up here quite quite substantially, and we've not even started putting down the wall yet. Oh dear, it's too big, isn't it? Well, it is what it is. We could cut back across here, actually. We don't need to come all the way out, do we, to the King's Road. So maybe let's put one there, and one here, and then cutting back along the road like so. And there it is, ticking us over the number we can actually construct. We may have to lose one of these towers. Maybe that one there is excessive. Good shenanigans. And then walls. We'll just start connecting each of these up. I do want these to be, broadly speaking, curvy. I don't want too many straight lines. He says building a straight line. Except for that one, obviously. I did mean that we were going to keep that one. Let's move this one up to the edge here, so that we can have the wall clove in around the road here. And I think lots of little points. It's going to be the best way about this. Along here, following the edge. Keeping it as reasonably even as we possibly can. Bring it to a point here. And back down there. Build that section. Yeah, that looks pretty good. And then we'll take a straight wall. At least we would if we can get the gate to appear on the right side. I wonder if we can switch it around afterwards. If we build this as one long section. Right, let's delete that. Try again. Build it from this side. Like so, and then connect that up. So it seems like you're building it from the right side. I feel like I've had that before. Problems with the same thing. And then this one... Maybe let's curve this a little bit. Something a little like that. Sure, why not? And then come back in here. Start from that side, cross the road, build up to there, come along here. Little gentle slope. Ooh, that's not so gentle, is it? Click on 3 even points, that'll do the trick. And then 2 points there. And come out to here, build from this side. Connect to that one there. Gosh, this is a lot of wall. Reconsidering all that I'm doing. Starting to wonder if this is too big. Well, there's naught to be done about it now. Holy smokes, 460 planks. Okay, how do we think that looks? Bit of an odd shape. I wonder if this needs to go out here. Slightly. Yeah, I think so. And it's hard to see how this is sitting. It's in a little forestry area. Let me take this out a little bit here. Connect those together. Yes. And take this point here. See if we can't snap that a bit further along or to the... Oh, that looks better. That's better. Maybe even bring that one out a little bit. Yeah. Okay. Is this too far out over here? Should we bring that in? Yeah, I think so. And we'll even... If we can. Hello! Good, there we go. Can't do it much more than that. Do we even need those? I don't know if we need those. Yeah, I think I prefer it without. Then cinch that in a bit there. I wonder if we even take this back in a bit here. And then... Whoa. Odd shapes. Throwing odd shapes. I think we could probably even get away with that. Getting rid of that one, couldn't we? Do we delete this bit? Yeah, I think we delete. Let's delete this as well. Let's try this end again. I think it was just too big compared to the rest of it. And this is a bit wavy. Let's get rid of that. And that, I wonder if we have a straighter line here as well. Maybe a gentle curve between those two. And then put a outer tower halfway along it. Yeah, I think I prefer that. And that gate's good. Let's get a gate much tighter in here. And then get a outer tower perched on the corner here. Bring this one further this way. And then connect those two. And those two. And finally those two. Maybe even move that along here a little bit. Okay. I think that's better, if still a bit odd. But then, you know, the walls would have grown a little bit organically around settlements like this anyway. So I'm going to use that farcical explanation as to why I'm doing it this way, to do it this way. Yes. Can we bring that in a bit? Would that help? Would that help? Possibly. Possibly not. Right, and then I would like to build out around the encampment here, if at all possible. And then just follow this all the way around to fully encompass the hunting grounds. The idea being I kind of want it to look a bit like the manor's personal sporting ground, hunting grounds. And we can do that by surrounding it with a wall. Was my wonderful idea. I'm sure you'll agree, it's simply splendid. And connect those two up there. How's that look? Oh, I like that very much. Now, obviously, we don't have that much timber, but that's okay, because... Oh, I've moved it! Heavens! Okay. We're going to upgrade it straight away to a wall. Yes, a stone wall. And you know what? We've got stone. However, having just upgraded those two and seeing it comes to 100, I'm starting to think we don't have enough stone. But never mind. We certainly, if there's one thing we have access to, it's more stone. So we'll go all the way around, upgrade everything from the get-go, and then we'll know at least how much stone it is that we need. And we can set about quarrying it out of the ground, dressing it up so it looks pretty, and then transporting it over to this manor that I'm sure won't take anything more than about 7 in-game years to build. Yes, possibly longer. It may be that it never even builds properly. Who knows? Manor Lords is a little bit like that at the moment when it comes to building manors. Let's upgrade these all the way around, and then of course I'll probably forget a small section somewhere. We'll cross that bridge when we come to it. Try and make sure that all the walls join up. Yep, that looks good. It does connect there, doesn't it? Yeah, it does appear to. And upgrade, and upgrade, and upgrade. Oh. Ah. Had that been all of it, we would have actually had enough. But we don't, because we haven't done our walls here yet to surround the deer park. And there we are. That's comfortably taking us over the amount we have to hand. So we'll just go around and upgrade all these as well, and we'll just wait until we have enough. Oh, look at that wonderful circular stone wall surrounding the deer park. Oh, I do like that. Although it's not a deer park anymore, is it? Small game. Don't love the way that intersects here. Yeah. It's okay, I guess. Now, do we want to have any railed walls? Like so. So that's adding. That's adding about 70 cost in terms of planks. It is pretty cool, but I think it's just going to cost too much in terms of planks. So I think we'll get rid of it. We won't worry about it too much as it gives us that lovely serrated edge on the top. I think we'll stick to basic walls here. We're on a passive playthrough anyway, so this is more for aesthetics than anything else. Good stuff, right, well, let's close that, and we need to save up to 1238 stone. As the game lags a little bit at the horrendous thought of so much stone and so much building. It's looking at the manor plans and going, difficulty, are you sure? Are you sure you want to do this to us, difficulty? And it's having a bit of a migraine just thinking about it. But hey ho, let's get some stone together, let's quarry it, let's get it ready, and when we hit that magical, oh so magical, 1300 dress stone, we'll know it's time to get building. And there we have 1.5k stone neatly tucked away and ready for us to put to good use. So without further ado, let's free up some workers from the quarries because we no longer need them quarrying, because indeed they're going to be building. Let's free them up. All of you, thank you very much, and we'll take the stonemasons as well. And just like that, we've got a workforce of 23 unassigned families to start with construction. I think we'll just take up a position up here somewhere, and we'll select the manor, open the castle planner, and commit. Oh good, it didn't crash immediately. Such a bonus. Right, and we'll take a top-down view, and we'll let time pass. And there we have it. Finally complete. Now, a lot of time has passed. I would in fact say that, most of the generations here have lived and died since we started this construction. But we are now there, and it is gorgeous. I have noticed a few issues. Primarily, some of these walls appear to be inside out. but you never know. At least we're not going to talk about it too much. We'll ignore the fact that some of them are in fact inside out. But I'd argue, it still does the job. And given how long it took to build this, I'm not overly enthusiastic to go back in and fix it all. Safe to say. But it does look absolutely gorgeous. I love the deer park. Love how it wraps around the manor and the whole town. Now, it's taken so long to build that we have in fact lost the church. The church has collapsed. Now, I don't actually think, because it's now in the castle grounds, I don't think we can get in there and fix the church. So that may be forever, collapsed. Which is odd, given that, there's an entire stone structure around the entire settlement, and yet they can't fix a church, and in fact it's got some floaty rafters. Well, I guess you can't have your cake and eat it. But that just about brings our playthrough of this region to an end. And I think the perfect name for this region, because of the way that church has been put together and then collapsed, and the walls inside out, I think we'll just call it Broken Stone. And with that, our playthrough of the Broken Stone region has come to an end. That's it for today, folks. If you would like your comment to feature in a future video, then why not leave me a challenge below. A like and subscribe is a great way to support the channel and helps keep me motivated to keep making new content. If you're still in the mood to chill, join me in another video. But for now, cheerio.